welcome to my channel. My name is Jatan with All Things Jatan, and we are going to talk about starting a health and wellness journey. For me, the first thing that I did when I started my journey, I want to say I've been on this journey for all my life. However, I really didn't start taking it too serious until about 3 or 4 years ago. If you have been on my channel before and you found me maybe through my credit building and home buying process, you know I have always come back and forth. So this is kind of like probably going to be a little rebranding for me, but with just cause and with good reason. I would definitely say. So jumping right into the video, the first thing that helped me to start my health and wellness journey was to assess my why, like determine why was it so important for me to start this journey. And for me, I would definitely say that all it takes is that one person. Growing up, I was skinny. I was not the healthiest. I used to have like my knees popping through my clothes and everything. So, you know, just hearing that all the time, like you never felt like you had anything to worry about. As I progressed in life, got up to high school and everything, I used to have, even before high school, I used to get really, really bad migraines, and I would be in and out of the doctor's office on a reoccurring basis. And I just remember them trying different things, like they would put me on birth control. They would, all because of my migraines. They would do so many things to try to assess like what was making me have these migraines. Then from the stress of it, I developed high blood pressure, and high blood pressure, diabetes, things like that run in my family. So once I became a mom, it really became a goal of mine to figure out what I can do to prevent my kids from having a life that I had. And not saying that I had a bad life, but as far as I took all the punches for my kids so that they don't have to endure that later on. So you want to definitely establish your why. I relocated from Delaware, and since being here in Georgia, and not really having family around and things like that, I've been trying to grow my community through my church and things like that. So it really became important to me to, like, instead of signing up for like a gym membership and things like that, like what can you do at home? What can you do? So I would go walking in my neighborhood. I would walk in the park with my kids. I would do videos on YouTube, anything to like get my steps in, to get moving, to get active. And those little things ended up becoming big results. Okay. So, you know, those are like things that I set out for. I made an agreement to myself that I would not even entertain setting myself up for a gym membership or any type of physical training without showing that I could be consistent myself. So when I first moved down here, I was like close to 300 pounds, knocking on 300 pounds, and I'm almost at being under. This is the smallest that I've been since I've been a mom. So, you know, it really was important to me. And then a few months ago, if you look through my videos, I had a situation where, you know, I just chalked it up to being no big deal. I've always battled with being anemic. And when I went to go get my blood work done, the doctor here that was seeing me was like extremely concerned. And she was like, you know, you need to go see a hematologist to make sure that it's not leukemia. And these were all terms and figures and things of that nature that I had never be thrown around in my family. And these, I know I'm getting off subject, but these are all going to be tying into tips as far as like how I was able to start my wellness journey. But it took me forever to even be able to get in with a hematologist. And as soon as I met the hematologist, they were saying, you know, no, it's not leukemia. However, your iron levels are very low. Your absorption levels are low. So I had to start doing iron transfusions, which I never even knew was a thing. So, you know, hopefully, like I said, me sharing my story, this will help someone else. You don't look at it as just being an everyday thing, because not having a proper blood flow going to your organs, your lungs, and things of that nature, that is a concern. Now, what my hematologist did advise me was some people naturally have low iron, low absorption, and it may never get above a certain degree. So it was still a relief that I was able to go to them and say, okay, well, there was something that could be done, because my oldest daughter also is anemic. And when she was younger, she would have to go to the doctors every month just to see if the things that they were doing, our iron pills and things like that, were helping her. And after 2 months, the doctor was like, some people just have low iron. And I heard that before, but that was her pediatrician, you know. So I'm like, was I supposed to have seen a hematologist or a blood specialist all along? Like, would this, you know? So it definitely helped me from that mind frame. And then just even talking to family members, you know, I heard that, you know, we have some family members that may have had like the sickle cell trait. So if two parents didn't have, like, without going into genetics, some things that you may be born with could be getting passed down to your generation. So me starting my health and wellness journey was extremely important, knowing that I could be passing down certain things. I'm the one that, you know, in the household, feed my kids. I'm the one that they're going to see working out. I'm going, you know, so it's very important for me to be the example that I want them to have. You know, I didn't always see that. My mom worked 2 jobs. She was a hard worker mother. And I'm just like, okay, what can I do and still be a present mom, and still be able to provide for my kids and have them be able to see me present, and picking healthier options, working out. Those are all things that, you know, just came so simple to me. And I'm saying this, at first it was not easy. So just would advise you to create and try to stick to a schedule as much as possible. If you're watching this, I'm not sure on how old your child is or your kids are, but if you got to get up an extra 10 to 15 minutes early to go ahead and get a walk in, to, you know, start manifesting, or, you know, get into some type of meditation. Like, if you gotta send them to bed early just so that you can have that alone time. One of the things that the doctor that I ended up seeing here before seeing my hematologist said to me was, why didn't you call the ambulance? And I was like, oh, because I had to get my kids from school. And the first thing she said was, well, what if you weren't here? And that gets me emotional every single time, because I'm their mom, you know what I mean? So I can never think about not being there, but that was like a harsh reality for me, that I needed to really focus on myself. And that also brings me to say, a health and wellness journey does not need to be weight loss driven. Of course, if you are overweight or you have a big BMI, those are all things that can put you at risk for other serious or chronic diseases. That could put you at risk for diabetes, high blood pressure, taking insulin, you know, stroke, heart attack, a lot of different things, impact your breathing and things of that nature. So, you know, it doesn't have to always be weight loss driven. Even me being on this journey, I would have to force myself sometimes to get up and work out, but I never had a workout that did not make me feel good at the end. Like, working out is one of those things or a lifestyle that once you do it, you're going to get the results from it. So just think of it as your job. I was having a talk with my brother, and my brother was just like, he's on his health kick as well, and just being away from him, I'm just like, I just can't even believe this is my baby brother. But he was just saying how, like, it became a mindset for him. It really became important. And just like we get up and go to work, like a lot of times starting off in 2023, I was getting emails from my job saying, hey, you got to use this time or you're going to lose it. I thought I used on my vacation time. I was so detached from everything, but I knew that I needed my job. I needed a paycheck in order to provide for my kids. So it's just like the same thing. And if you think about it, you're actually giving more to your job than to yourself. So I work sometimes 8 hours or more to be able to provide a living and a lifestyle for my kids. So you mean to tell me you don't have 30 minutes for yourself to like pour into your health? You don't have 30 minutes, 15 minutes to like focus on your health and wellness? And that's when it got to me, like, I have to make this a priority. And think about it, like, even when it comes to the airline, when they go over the safety rules and everything, like, God forbid anything happens while you're on the plane, they tell you to cover yourself first. You have to cover yourself before you could be there for anybody else. So working out for me, having a healthy lifestyle for me really started to show. I started to be a nice mom, you know, like I stopped being so mean and angry all the time. Like, working out really changed the mind frame that I had. Like, it was not my kids' fault that I became overweight. It even started helping me sleep better. So like I said, I've gotten way more being on my health and wellness journey than I've had to actually give up. And that brings me to the next reason, or the next tip as to why. Keep it simple. Keep it simple. I grew up from like the generation of like where we had soul foods and you cooking for hours. Your whole Sunday was designated to like big making a big meal. But now you might get me to cook something 45 minutes, and that's because it doesn't take all that. Like, the things that are quick and simple be just as good as you thinking that I slaved in the kitchen. And of course now we have devices and gadgets and equipment and stuff like that that will get your food done quick. I can still get fall off the bone ribs. I can still get fall off the bone meat by putting it in my pressure cooker. I don't have to sit up there and be doing a crock pot and all that other stuff and giving my kids that same food that would have made them think that I spent hours doing. You know, it just comes with keeping things simple. A lot of these kids like Chick-fil-A and things like that, I could create that same enjoyment in the comfort of my own home and know that I'm giving them like nutritious foods on their plate or whatever. So, you know, keep it simple. Don't worry about removing so many things. Focus on one thing every 30 days, because like I said, when you're on a health and wellness journey, it should be something that you think and consider about sustaining for the rest of your life. So think about trying to increase your water intake in 30 days. Think about reducing your sugars, you know, trying to cut back on the amount of sugar that you intake, because to me that's my kicker. I realize that I've tried keto, I've tried low carb, I've tried everything, and I feel like the main thing that works for me is being in a calorie deficit, as well as intermittent fasting. When I be on a calorie deficit, I'm like, okay, do I want to have this 400 calorie donut and then I ain't gonna be able to enjoy what I want? Am I gonna be able to get the protein that I need from having this you know, like, my main focus now is getting the protein intake as well as like the fiber from my digestive system and everything like that. So your perspective, the longer you're on this journey, begins to change. And another thing is, like I said, I have a 4-year-old, a 10-year-old, and a 14-year-old. And just hearing them tell me like how I look, just hearing them focus on, you know, like my daughter ran track last year. Mom, I'm tired. I got cramps in my leg. And just being able to say to her, okay, well, you know, daughter, like, let's try to incorporate different things. Let's try to make sure that we're being mindful of our electrolytes. Like, even though she's running track and I'm on my wellness journey, the things that I'm learning amongst myself, I'm able to help her in those areas of her life. And, you know, she's more mindful. Like, okay, well, why don't you have this to start off for breakfast? If you don't like to eat in the morning, that's fine, but just make sure that you have something that, you know, is going to be filling to you, so that you're not snacking on Takis and chips and stuff like that. Like, I try to be very transparent with my kids. There's a lot of things that we have in this country that they don't even allow in other countries. So, you know, just being mindful of like how different foods impact me. Like, when it comes to dairy, I get bloated, I get I just don't feel my best when I eat certain things. So certain things that I know is going to impact me in different ways, it was like a no-brainer for me to give up. But I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. If you are a busy mom, you're busy with work, even if you don't have any kids and you want to start a health or wellness journey, I strongly encourage it, and you will start to see more content of where I start to incorporate it and start to show that, because if I can do it, you definitely can do it. My kids, I have a daughter starting high school, a daughter that still has one more year of elementary, and then one that starts pre-K. So they're going 3 different directions for one more year. And like I said, you have to prioritize yourself. The more you pour into yourself, the more you will be able to pour into your kids. And I hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you have not done so already, please make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button and turn on your notification bell so that you know when I upload again. Take care.